I've spent years in this business, and let me tell you, I've seen it all. One thing that never gets easier is seeing good people stuck in bad relationships. Relationships that drain them, diminish them, and leave them feeling broken. Toxic relationships. Now, we're not talking about the occasional argument or disagreement here. We're talking about a pattern of behavior, a dynamic that's downright unhealthy. And if this is hitting home for you, I need you to know you're not alone, and more importantly, there's a way out. First things first, you gotta recognize the signs. It's not always easy, especially when you're caught up in the whirlwind of emotions that come with a new relationship. Sometimes, what feels like love can actually be something much more complicated and even harmful. So, how do you tell the difference? It starts with paying attention to how you feel and what's really happening in your relationship. Toxic relationships can be sneaky. They don't always announce themselves with big, obvious warning signs. Instead, they often creep in quietly, hidden behind small arguments, little doubts, or moments of jealousy that seem harmless at first. You might brush off your discomfort, thinking it's just a rough patch or normal couple stuff. But sometimes those little things add up to something much bigger. They often start subtly, maybe even disguised as passionate love. At first, the intensity can feel exciting, like you've finally found someone who truly cares. But passion isn't the same as respect, and sometimes what looks like deep affection is actually possessiveness or control in disguise. It's important to notice if the relationship feels balanced, or if one person is always calling the shots. But over time, that passion turns poisonous. Arguments become more frequent, and instead of resolving issues together, you might find yourself feeling blamed or misunderstood. The warmth you once felt starts to fade, replaced by anxiety, sadness, or even fear. You might start questioning your own judgment, wondering if you're overreacting or being too sensitive. So, what should you be looking for? Control. This is one of the biggest red flags in any relationship. If your partner is always checking up on you, wanting to know where you are, who you're with, or what you're doing, that's not love. It's control. Healthy relationships are built on trust, not surveillance. Does your partner constantly try to dictate your every move? Who you see, where you go, what you wear? Maybe they make you feel guilty for spending time with friends or family, or they criticize your choices until you start doubting yourself. That's a red flag, folks. No one should have that much power over your life or your happiness. Manipulation is another big one. Sometimes it's obvious, like twisting your words or making you feel crazy for expressing your feelings. Other times, it's more subtle. Maybe they use guilt, silent treatment, or even affection as a way to get what they want. If you feel like you're always the one apologizing, or if you're constantly second-guessing yourself, that's a sign something's off. Do you feel like you're always walking on eggshells, afraid to say or do the wrong thing? In a healthy relationship, you should feel safe to be yourself, to speak your mind, and to make mistakes without fear of harsh consequences. If you're constantly anxious or worried about upsetting your partner, that's not love, that's fear. Does your partner guilt trip you into doing things their way? Maybe they make you feel responsible for their happiness, or they blame you for their bad moods. That's not right. Love shouldn't come with strings attached, or make you feel like you're always in the wrong. And then there's the emotional abuse. Constant criticism, belittling, name-calling. These things might start small, but over time, they can become a regular part of your relationship. No one deserves to be put down or made to feel less than they are. Emotional abuse can be just as damaging as physical abuse, even if there are no visible scars. It can leave you feeling isolated, confused, and unsure of your own worth. If you find yourself dreading interactions with your partner, or feeling like you can't do anything right, it's time to take a step back and really look at what's happening. These things chip away at your self-esteem, leaving you feeling small and worthless. Over time, you might start to believe the negative things your partner says about you, or feel like you don't deserve better. But that's not true. You are worthy of love and respect, just as you are. Listen, you deserve to be treated with respect, with kindness, with love. Anything less is unacceptable. Remember, real love lifts you up, it doesn't tear you down. If you recognize any of these signs in your relationship, know that you're not alone, and there is help out there. You have the right to feel safe, valued, and happy. Never settle for less. Now I know this is going to be tough love, but you have to hear it. Your well-being is not up for debate. It's not something you can keep putting on the back burner, hoping things will magically get better. You have to make yourself a priority, even if it feels uncomfortable or selfish at first. The truth is, if you don't take care of yourself, no one else will. You are the only one who can truly advocate for your own needs, your own happiness, and your own peace of mind. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you keep giving and giving without ever refilling your own reserves, eventually you'll have nothing left to offer, not to yourself and not to anyone else. When you're stuck in a toxic relationship, it's like you're running a marathon with no finish line. You're constantly giving your energy, your love, your patience, and your hope, but you're not getting any of that back. Over time, this leaves you feeling completely depleted, emotionally, mentally, and even physically. You might notice you're more irritable, more anxious, or just plain exhausted all the time. That's not just coincidence, that's your body and mind telling you that something needs to change. It's time to start putting yourself first. And I mean really putting yourself first, not just saying it, but actually making choices that reflect it. This could mean setting boundaries, saying no to things that drain you, or simply carving out time each day to do something that brings you joy. Take care of your physical health. Eat right, not just because you should, but because your body deserves to be nourished. Choose foods that make you feel good, that give you energy, and that support your overall well-being. Get enough sleep, even if it means turning off your phone or saying no to late-night plans. Move your body in ways that feel good to you, whether that's a walk in the park, a yoga class, or just stretching in your living room. Exercise isn't just about looking a certain way, it's about feeling strong, capable, and alive. And don't forget about your mind. Taking care of your mental state is just as important as taking care of your body. Try meditation, journaling, or simply spending a few quiet moments each day to check in with yourself. These small acts of self-care can do wonders for your mood, your outlook, and your resilience. And speaking of mental health, don't be afraid to seek professional help. There's absolutely no shame in reaching out to a therapist, counselor, or support group. In fact, it's one of the bravest things you can do for yourself. A therapist can give you the tools and strategies you need to navigate this difficult time. They can help you process your emotions, set healthy boundaries, and rebuild your sense of self-worth. You don't have to go through this alone. Remember, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength, of courage, and of self-respect. It means you're willing to do what it takes to heal and to grow, even if it's hard. It means you're ready to take back control of your life, to reclaim your happiness, and to remind yourself and the world that your well-being is truly non-negotiable. Listen, you can't change someone else's behavior no matter how much you wish you could. It's a hard truth, but an important one. Sometimes we spend so much energy trying to fix or rescue others, hoping that if we just say the right thing or act the right way, they'll finally see things from our perspective. But the reality is the only person you truly have control over is yourself. What you can control and what really matters is how you respond to the situations and people around you. Your reactions, your choices, your boundaries. These are the bricks you lay one by one to build a healthier, more peaceful life for yourself. When you choose to pause, breathe, and respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively, you're already taking back your power. Setting boundaries is crucial in any relationship, whether it's with a partner, a friend, or even a family member. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out or being cold. They're about protecting your own well-being and making it clear what is and isn't acceptable to you. In healthy relationships, boundaries are respected and even appreciated. But especially in a toxic one, boundaries become your lifeline. Toxic dynamics can make you doubt yourself, question your worth, and feel like you're walking on eggshells. That's why it's even more important to stand firm and protect your emotional space. It's about establishing what you will and will not tolerate. Start small if you need to. Write down your boundaries, reflect on what feels right for you, and remind yourself that your needs are valid. Even the smallest step toward asserting yourself is a victory. Maybe it's saying no to unreasonable demands even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Maybe it's refusing to take on more than you can handle, or simply letting someone know that their words or actions have crossed a line. Maybe it's not answering the phone after a certain hour, giving yourself permission to rest and recharge without guilt. These small acts of self-respect add up over time, creating a foundation of strength and self-worth. The key is to be firm, consistent, and don't back down when your boundaries are tested. People may push back, especially if they're used to you always saying yes or putting their needs first. But remember, you're not being selfish, you're being healthy. Now, I know this can be easier said than done. It's normal to feel nervous or even guilty when you start standing up for yourself, especially if you've spent years putting others first. You might worry about conflict or fear that you'll lose someone's affection or approval. This is especially true if your partner is used to getting their way, or if they react negatively when you try to assert yourself. They may try to guilt trip you, argue, or even ignore your boundaries altogether, but that's not a reflection of your worth. It's a sign that your boundaries are needed more than ever. But trust me, the more you assert yourself, the stronger you'll become. Each time you honor your own needs, you build confidence and self-respect. Over time, you'll notice that you feel less anxious, more empowered, and more at peace with yourself. And who knows, it might even inspire them to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Sometimes your courage to change is exactly what someone else needs to start their own journey. Remember, every boundary you set is a brick in the foundation of a healthier, happier you. Look, I'm going to tell you something that you need to hear. You are not alone in this. It's easy to feel isolated and ashamed when you're trapped in a toxic relationship. But the truth is, it can happen to anyone. Reach out to your support system. Talk to your friends, your family, people you trust. Let them know what you're going through. They can offer a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, and a much-needed dose of perspective. Remember, you don't have to protect this person. You deserve to be surrounded by people who love and support you unconditionally. Leaving a toxic relationship is a process, not an event. It takes time to plan, to prepare, and honestly, to build up the courage to walk away. And safety is paramount. If you feel threatened in any way, reach out to a domestic violence hotline or law enforcement. They can help you create a safety plan and connect you with resources. Start thinking about your options. Do you have a safe place to go? Can you rely on family or friends for financial assistance? Do you need to gather important documents? Remember, knowledge is power. The more prepared you are, the smoother the transition will be. This is often the hardest part, but it's essential for your healing. Cutting off contact with your toxic ex is about protecting your energy, your peace of mind, and your future. Block their number, unfollow them on social media, and resist the urge to engage in any communication. Now, I know they might try to reel you back in with promises of change or apologies that sound sincere, but remember, actions speak louder than words. Don't fall for the same tricks that got you here in the first place. This is your chance for a fresh start, a clean break. Don't let them drag you back into the darkness. Leaving a toxic relationship is a victory in itself. Now it's time to focus on healing, rebuilding, and rediscovering who you are outside of that toxic dynamic. Therapy can be incredibly helpful during this phase. It provides a safe space to process your emotions, develop coping mechanisms, and challenge any negative beliefs you've internalized. Self-care is still crucial. Nurture your passions, reconnect with old friends, and explore new hobbies. This is your chance to rediscover your joy, your strength, and your capacity for love. Remember, healing takes time. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and know that you are worthy of a love that lifts you up, not tears you down. Look, I've been doing this a long time, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that everyone deserves to be in a loving, healthy relationship. One that brings you joy, not pain. One that empowers you, not diminishes you. If you're stuck in a toxic relationship, know that you have the strength to break free. It won't be easy, but I promise you, it will be worth it. Now, if this video resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more advice on love, life, and everything in between. And remember, you are not alone.